Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Heike and you're watching Stone Cold Coffee Crafts, and today I have something for you I think I haven't done before. So this is going to be a how-to video. I've had a few people asking me how to work with Pixel Stitch, which is a website you can use to turn pictures into a cross-stitch chart basically, and I use it to determine how big I want to have my custom paintings before I contact the shop and ask them to send me a rendering. You don't really have to do that. Pretty much every shop I have used so far to do custom paintings, which would be Royal Diamond Painting, Evermoment, Fuyun Oli, and the Hankins store. That should be all. They're very willing to give me renderings of multiple sizes of the painting before I actually decided. I also contacted Mayan once and they did that as well. Yeah, I just didn't purchase anything from them in the end because I liked the rendering that Evermoment sent me better. So anyway, you will have to do a bit of math before you can actually use Pixel Stitch. And please don't run away screaming. It's going to be very easy. It's just that, and I have to dive a bit into cross-stitching right now. This is a tool designed for cross-stitch, and this tool actually transforms your pictures based on a 14 count grid. So what does that mean? In cross stitch, we talk about count to tell you how many stitches we put in per inch. So a 14 count means that on 1 inch of fabric, I put in 14 stitches in one row to achieve that inch. A diamond painting is a 10 count because each square drill is 0.25 millimeters in size and 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So 10 of these little squares fit into 1 inch. That's why you can't use Pixel Stitch one by one because it actually turns it into a 14 count, which would mean 14 instead of 10. And it would distort the rendering you get. So it would look better than it actually does in the end. You know what I mean? So you have to do a bit of math. Also, there is a difference between round and squares because squares are actually 0.28 millimeters, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it actually means 1 round per inch less than square. So you have to do a bit of math. So first of all, let's go to Pixel Stitch. The website is called pixel-stitch.net. I have already switched it over to English to make it a bit easier for you. Usually I have it on German, of course. So let's see. It's very easy. Get started and select a picture. Click on that. I have prepared a picture. This is my lovely rabbit, which sadly died a long time ago. I think she actually died in 2012. So a long time ago. This is my favorite picture of her. I think it's just the cutest picture I've ever taken of her. And I thought it would be very fitting to turn this into my demonstration piece. Also here in the background you can see her husband. He died a couple of years after her, so he's also long gone now. Ah, super sad. So anyway, away from the sad topics. So let's for 1 second think about how big you want to make this. So let's see, if you want to turn this into a 50 centimeter painting in width, for example, you have to think about the width because that's what you are going to put in up here in the number of stitches. And I think this actually, no, it just tells you that you can't go bigger than 500. So that's what you have to think about. From this point to this point, how big is this supposed to be? So let's say I want to make this into a 50 centimeter width square painting. The math is pretty simple. You go 50 divided by 0.25. This gives you 200 stitches. So you know for a 10 count, you need to know how it looks like with 200 stitches. You can also adjust the number of colors. I would leave it at 60 because quite honestly, most diamond painting companies won't go over. If you decide to do your custom with Royal Diamond Painting, they of course will if they can. They use as many colors as possible. You have the DMC palette. These are all no new options. I only saw yesterday, so I haven't played with them yet. We're not going to look at them right now. And then we click on Create Embroidery Pattern. It takes about a second, and then you get your rendering of what this would look like in a 50 square. And that's why I say don't really pay attention. Oh, it's actually 18 count, not 14. See, even worse. So, even worse. So on an 18 count, this would actually mean this painting is only 28 centimeters by 27 centimeters or 11 by not quite 11 inch. Um, in a 10 count, it's 50 by not quite 50. And that's what it would look like. And that's why I say ignore please what's down here. That's not correct because it's based on an 18 count. Do the math first, and if you want 50 centimeter on a 10 count, you have to put in a rendering that equals 200 stitches in this tool here. All right, so this would be square. If you want to go round, you have to put in 50 divided by 0.28. And as you can see, that's only 178.57 stitches. I always go with a lower number. Usually at a 178.57, I would have to round up to 179. I go with 178. And that would turn out this way. You don't have the direct comparison right now, but it's a little more pixelated than the other one, because that's normal. Round drills are bigger, and then the resolution isn't quite as high. I will save both pictures and show them side by side. Maybe you can see the difference, not sure. Actually, this shows 42 colors. You can also see if you don't really want to give this away to a company to turn it into a diamond painting, you could also get a blank canvas and then purchase all these drills because they give you the number and the DMC color. So you could do that. You can save your pattern. When you click on this button here, you can download it as a PDF. So also possible, and you could do your very own, completely kitted by yourself, custom painting on a blank canvas. So you basically only had to purchase the blank canvas and the drills from wherever, China or your local store if you have any near you. I believe we actually do have one in Germany that would supply you with the canvas and the drills. So you can check that out. I will caution you. Of course, you could do this with pretty much any picture you find on the internet, but consider copyright. Only do this for your own pictures that you actually took yourself, made yourself, own, and you're allowed to turn into a diamond painting. So, one more example. Let's say I wanted to still do it in round, but maybe go bigger to up the resolution. Let's say to 60. Then I would go 60 divided by 0.28. And then I had 214 drills, so this would basically make it a little bit higher in resolution than the square 50. And that would look like this. I think you can actually see a pretty good difference here in Little Husband here in the background. But like I said, I'm going to put the pictures in there. You could also play this the other way around. So, for example, if you knew how many stitches something has, for example, you have a heaven earth design pattern that you want to turn into a diamond painting, you can do the same math just in reverse. So that would, for example, mean you have, let's say, heaven and earth designs are usually pretty big. Let's say you have 450 stitches in width, and you would want to do this as a round diamond painting. You would go 450 times 0.28, and that would come out at 126. That's the centimeters you would need in width as a canvas. You want to know what this is in inch divided by 2.54. That would mean nearly 50 inch. So badass. So that's pretty much all that is. It's not hard to calculate this. It's actually not anything to be afraid of. You just have to play a little bit, and I know for you Americans, you have to get used a bit to our metric number system we use in Europe and Australia, and I think Canada uses it as well. But yeah, it's not as hard as it seems. So I'm going to put everything down in the description box below so you can see how to get from centimeter to stitch count, how to get from stitch count to centimeter, how to get from centimeter to inch, and all that fun stuff. But that's how you can use Pixel Stitch to either create your own diamond painting charts if you want to do it with a blank canvas and just a bunch of drills you purchase, or to check beforehand, does my picture even make a good custom painting? Because not every picture is actually good as a custom painting. I believe she would turn out cute. I've tried to do some with my cats, and I have to say most of them looked really not so good. So I'm still looking for the perfect picture to turn into a diamond painting as far as my girls are concerned. And you could make up your mind beforehand how big you want to go, because it can be pricey. Let's say, for example, if you go to Royal Diamond Painting, and I would absolutely recommend to do that because stunning, 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 and all that confetti is really worth it in the end. Um, you might want already to be a bit clear about how big you want to go, because it's also a question of money. It's not cheap. Also with Evermoment, it's not the cheapest way to do it, but those two are actually the two I'm going to recommend to you. I have done customs with both of them, both turned out fabulous, so please consider them if you're thinking about that. And yeah, that's how you use Pixel Stitch. So don't want to make this any longer than it absolutely has to be. I hope you found this video helpful and you're going to try it out. Bye guys!